Hi, my name is Christina Anderson. I'm the city planner for Kalamazoo. This presentation serves as the kickoff for our update of the downtown zoning code. Over the next couple of months, we will be asking the community a series of questions, both through online activities, self-guided walking tours, and hopefully as the summer progresses, the opportunity to ask in person how the code should be updated to reflect the vision for downtown Kalamazoo. The 2025 master plan envisioned a downtown that could meet the housing needs of the community, that had a thriving business community, that was an active, inviting place for those that want to live, work, and play to go to, and that was accessible to people traveling by all modes to downtown and between downtown and their neighborhoods. The master plan went on to say that in order to achieve that goal, one task that needs to be done is updating the zoning code or the rules that guide development in downtown. And when that work is done, the master plan specifically said to make sure that the code consider the impact of a building, especially its first floor, both the way it looks and how it's used on the block, to create a clear set of standards with a predictable outcome, and to review any development processes to make sure that they are streamlined. When we hear someone talk about zoning, I think a lot of different elements of a project or property development come to mind. So I want to be clear on what zoning is and what it's not. Zoning is a set of rules for how land can be used and developed. So it will list out what the uses that are permitted in a certain area are, and if there are any restrictions to those uses. It will include elements of building location on a lot, including the building and how it relates to the driveway and any parking that's on the site. It also can regulate building form, elements like height, entrance location, and windows, to name a few. Zoning is a power that is given to a city by the state. Zoning rules should support the community vision for an area. For us, we're working with the 2025 master plan. At the end of the day, zoning is the base layer for a project. So it is not property ownership or financing or construction financing or support for changing a sign or other elements of a building. Changing zoning does not mean that there will be an instant change, like a light switch was flipped. Zoning is that first layer that sets out what can happen and how. Today, downtown, all of it is currently zoned with one zoning district, known as CCBD, the Commercial Central Business District. In addition to the zoning code that regulates development in downtown, a set of design guidelines are also in effect for any downtown project. These are known as the Downtown Design Review Guidelines. They are a set of standards, in addition to the zoning, that provide guidance on form and building design, and they have a separate review process that one would go through when developing a building. So why are we talking about updating this system? The one large zoning district makes it difficult for us to meet that vision laid out in the 2025 master plan. One large district does not allow us to think about how the Kalamazoo Mall and the different types of, say, housing that would be best suited for the mall differ from areas at the southern edge of downtown as we go into the Vine and Edison neighborhoods and the types of housing that would be appropriate there. The same is true for commercial and business uses. One large district does not allow us to treat the key shopping district areas differently from areas that have more residential or more office uses. And finally, one large district does not allow us to take into account the different streets that exist in downtown Kalamazoo and how they can impact or support the business community and how they provide different options for travel through and to Kalamazoo. This update will also allow us to ensure that our development processes are clear, provide a predictable outcome, and are streamlined to make it easier for both city staff to administer them as well as for someone to go through them. As I mentioned, over the next couple of months, we will be asking you a series of questions about downtown development, downtown character, and businesses that you would like to see in downtown and where. The first step is going to be to divide our one large downtown into 3 smaller districts. From there, we'll be able to set the standards for those districts, including uses, building placement and form, and how we interweave the downtown design review guidelines into the code itself. Before you start the first exercise, I want to talk about the 3 different districts that we are considering for downtown. District 1 is the entertaining, dining, and shopping core of downtown Kalamazoo, the key blocks. On the first floor of the buildings here, you will see storefronts with views into the stores or the dining spaces, and less active uses like residential uses are on the upper floors or the rear of buildings. Surface parking lots are not permitted in this area so as not to create any dead spaces between active businesses. In the public spaces in District 1, you will see wide sidewalks that support outdoor dining and sales. There'll be benches and trash cans and other streetscape, including trees and planters. Pedestrians are the priority user in our public spaces in District 1. There is certainly on-street parking, typically metered, to provide convenient vehicle spaces, ample bike parking, and the area would be transit served. District 2 would allow a wider variety of uses on the ground floor of buildings. This would include residential, civic, and institutional uses in addition to commercial. These spaces are still treated with storefronts often, but other designs to reflect the wide mix of uses would be commonly seen. Surface parking would be limited or not permitted, again, to limit the amount of dead space between active uses. The sidewalks would be wide with street trees and planters to provide ample space for pedestrians to move through the area. And the public spaces, the streets combined with the sidewalks, would support travel by people who are not only walking, but biking, riding transit, and in their personal vehicles. District 3 is seen as a transition between downtown and the surrounding neighborhoods. District 3 would permit a wide variety of uses, including a wide variety of housing types, such as row houses or low-rise apartments. The first floor, ground floor of the buildings would have a variety of designs, but all would have clear entrances and a minimum amount of transparent windows. Sidewalks in this area, you might start to see a mix of all pavement as well as grass as a curb lawn between the sidewalk and the street. The street would support travel by all modes between downtown and the surrounding neighborhoods. Thank you for taking the time to listen and view this presentation. We hope that you will now go on to complete the mapping exercise to help us understand how we can take downtown from one large district to 3 smaller, more focused districts. Please stay tuned to imaginekalamazoo.com for more information on this project and the next steps.